Thank you.
Is there anything new on this list that is, well, maybe we'll get it in the city council report.
Anything in blue should be the new stuff.
Anything in blue should be the new stuff? Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
In my extensive studying today, I didn't even notice that, but that's good. Thank you.
I guess I got the 610 Extension Business Park. What, that's on 30 and like, what? 116? Seems over kind of far. With the 19510?
So
Number 11, I apologize.
That's the one that'll be opposite to Hope Community, off of 116 and 30.
Across the street?
Yes.
Okay.
So that one, they have a concept. They were originally going to bring it to council. They paused. They wanted to reconsider some of their stuff, and they haven't brought it back to us yet. I think based on some emails I'm seeing, they want to bring it forward again soon, but I haven't seen their latest version yet.
Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, let's move on. Recreation supervisor update.
I've been swamped. The busy season is here, and I feel it. That's why my brain stopped working on the numbers.
Well, your hours are up. That's the problem.
Yeah, the brain just shuts off
Yeah.
once I've hit hours. So realistically, I have been working to get the baseball season up and running. It starts the week of the 29th, so I did delay it a week from previous years, and I had regrets when it got really warm, and then it snowed again, and I felt really good about it. I've also been working on night 2 night, so working on the coloring page, working on the flyers, working on donation letters, sign up genius for volunteers. It seems early. It's not. I'm probably behind. Park planning, working with HKGI to develop the concept plan, and then putting together materials to discuss that both here and during the joint work session, which leads us into joint work session prep, so that's covered. Youth soccer registration open for that. We're up to over 180 registrations, and it has only been open, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know how many are residents. I did not have time to look. I'm so sorry.
Next time.
Also been taking a lot of park registration or reservations. So we've got softball, baseball, cricket, and a few pavilion reservations. And then policy development. So that park standards document, I mentioned I'm working on park naming policy. And I feel like there's one other one that I'm not thinking of, but really trying to get stuff so that I can bring it forward to you guys, to you all.
Great.
Any questions for me? Anything that you think I'm missing that you would like to see?
Just a quick question on the park reservations. Who's renting the ball fields? Is it like adult teams or is it?
Some are adults,
Or-
some are youth.
Okay, okay. From schools, you mean, or from?
One is an athletic association external. One is a church softball team or league, and then cricket.
Cool.
And then the pavilion is like birthday parties, grad parties, general gatherings, a potluck for some other folks. That one, I think, yeah, that's different,
Fun.
but.
People get to have a good time in Corcoran.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good,
And they can have beer at the pavilion.
good, good.
All right, thank you for that. Now we'll move on to city council report.
Okay, so a few items I thought you might be interested in. Organics recycling has been a hot button for a lot of folks. We have made an ordinance change now to have a city drop-off site, which should eliminate the need for public to charge all of their customers for organics, whether they use organics or not. We had confirmation from them this week that they will be removing that from their bills going forward for people who have been charged that fee.
Does it move it automatically, or we have to call in?
They're gonna move it automatically to remove it.
The different garbage companies and the.
Nobody else was charging it. It was just Republic.
Are they
Oh,
reimbursing?
Republic was. Oh, okay.
I don't think that they're going to disgorge any money to people that they charge the fee to. You could call them and see if
shot.
they'll give you credit.
So I'll have to check my bill.
I wouldn't hold you to that.
So there's gonna be a city drop-off spot?
There will be.
Okay.
And that'll be noticed, I think, in the next newsletter. So that's exciting.
It is, that's very
On
good.
the Woodland Hills development, we have christened a new zoning type, which is going to be called conservation density, intending to denote the conservation of open space and rural character. So for homes that are less than 3 units per acre, we'll be able to use that to enable folks to accommodate preservation of trees, wetlands, open fields, all the kinds of amenities that we had hoped that they would start doing when we updated our PUD ordinance requirements. So now they'll be able to do that and not have to worry about coming in too low on density. So that's exciting for the long-term future of how development can look. Water tower logo is another one. So there was some heated debate over whether a logo should go onto the water tower. Turns out that it should. So we'll have 2 color logos on the water tower when it goes up. At the April 11th meeting, Councilor Schultz notified us that he is moving up north and he will no longer be able to serve on council. So there is a vacancy on council that we will be trying to fill with a volunteer to serve between April and November, when we will have a special election to fill that seat. So coming up in November, we will have 4 councilors and the mayor all up for election at the same time. I will be the only one who is not up.
You hold down the fort.
That is the theory.
Wow.
And then there was another industrial development. I was originally confused by your question, Val. The one I was thinking that this one was, there's another one that is being proposed, oh, thank you, north of Nelson Trucking by Bellwether.
101?
So that was just a
Where?
concept. They haven't given us details yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like there's going to continue to be more development applications coming in that general area. And I think that one also may have some implications or potential implications for the trail. The Park District Trail could go on that property, could go on the one to the west of it. So we may be called upon as the Parks Commission to evaluate which way we would like to see that go when the time comes. Any other topics you would like me to try to address?
Just back on that conservation density, I guess I didn't understand, what does that change? That the terminology is changing, but does it change anything about how that space is treated?
Good question. So the way that our comp plan is structured, the lowest density we can have in the MUSA, where we have municipal water and sewer, is 3 units per acre today. So if a developer wanted to come in and create a development and they wanted to set aside, 10 to 15 acres because there's a really good stand of trees on it, for example, and they want to preserve that, they would need to be able to get to 3 units per acre on the entirety of the parcel. So what the conservation zoning type allows us to do, and that's going to be an update to the comp plan, they can go down to a lower overall density, which means it's easier for them to preserve more open space as part of the development, because they're not having to make up as many units in other places.
Gotcha, thanks.
In case there's any confusion, you got a memo in your packet. It did not include the April 11th meeting because turning it around that fast is just so hard sometimes. But I did print out a new copy on the dais, and it should have a back that has all of the information from April 11th.
And thank you for the prompt there, because now I remembered that we also talked about automatic license plate reading cameras.
Remember, that was
So council approved using state public safety money to install 9 cameras around the city at various points, primarily around entrances to the city, to enable the police to get flagged if stolen vehicles or Amber Alerts or other hot listed vehicles are entering the city, so that they can attempt to find those people. The policy that they are adopting to control that, they can't just go by that hot list warning. They also need to visually confirm that the car matches the description and the license plate actually matches the license plate in the alert, so we don't falsely interact with people that we shouldn't have to interact with. There have been a couple issues with this particular license plate vendor. Out of millions of cars that they've searched, there were like 2 or 3 lawsuits that were brought up. So we wanted to make sure that we're protecting ourselves from falling prey to any of those known issues with that policy. But it should help us to, many of the folks who you hear about on Facebook committing crimes in Corcoran, doing it in stolen vehicles, and they'll come into town. So if we can get an early warning indicator that something is coming in, there's a better chance they can be dissuaded before they do anything here.
So you've allocated money for 9 of them, you said?
Mhm.
Do we have 9 entrances to town? Is that what you're saying?
There's more, but these are the,
Would you know what I'm saying?
yeah, we could scale it up in time. This is intended, it's a 2-year lease, and it's funded by state money. At the end of that 2 years, we'll either know, yes, this has been great, we've had some success with it, we're happy that we have this tool, or we'll say it's caused more problems than it's worth, people don't like it, the officers don't get a chance to do much with it, it's not worth continuing. We haven't purchased the equipment, we're leasing it on an annual basis, so it's not a permanent commitment.
Is that the only use for those cameras? Stolen vehicles?
Well, we're not allowing access to any other law enforcement agencies unless there's specific permissions negotiated. We're not allowing them to sell the data or make it commercially available. So it really just is for law enforcement purposes, yeah. There's no personally identifiable information captured. It's back license plate of a vehicle. You don't know who's driving it, and it's deleted after 30 days. So unless there's a warrant or a crime that we're investigating that would drive them to keep that data, it's going to keep rolling off after 30 days.
Good to know.
So the plate is captured and it's in some database up here saying this plate is
This
hot
plate
or
was here
stolen
at this
or
time.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
And if it's hot, then they'll send out an alert to the police.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, Wayzata's police, and I think several other cities, they've got a website, a transparency portal, where it'll say how many vehicles have been flagged and what kinds of flags have been observed. So that can be interesting to see how prevalent it is. The example data that they showed council was like 1% of vehicles that were inspected had something on them, outstanding warrants and that sort of thing.
All right. Good work on the organics recycling too.
Thank you.
I know a lot of people were. Me too. Okay, garden club report.
The trees are coming in, so they will get them a week from today, a week from tomorrow, and give them away then that next Saturday. So if any of you would like to help distribute trees, it'd be Saturday the 27th. We do it from 9 to noon.
Here? Or where?
It'll be over at the City Park.
At the pavilion,
At the
and we will
pavilion.
not be driving any vehicles up towards there that are unauthorized.
I take it as special authorization.
Tom, I will authorize your vehicle to drive up to the pavilion to drop off the trees.
I'll have 600 trees in the back of my car, so that's helpful.
Just a long way.
If you'd like to, spend an hour passing out trees, people in Corcoran love getting free stuff, and so it's a pretty happy party that goes on that day. So just, since we don't share our addresses, so let Jessica know and she'll let me know and we'll schedule you in. We can't have a quorum there.
I think that's the firearm safety.
Well, we
Field day,
can,
so I'm
we
here.
can so long as I put a notice in.
I asked the Corcoran has a small garden club, and I have had, a good numbers of volunteers from that. It takes half a dozen people to do it. We don't encourage, we encourage people to come in small groups every half hour, so it goes.
You're so organized at it now.
After, how many years have
It's
we
been
been
a
doing
lot
this?
of
A
years.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time.
You got this down.
Pretty much. Yeah, well, and since Jessica took over most of it, that's really made it go smoothly.
Really?
She puts, it's on the website, it's all automatic. We generate this list. And in recent years, last couple of years, we've taken a bunch of orders and then we've looked at them and says, what are the popular trees? And then we've actually ordered them based on that preliminary number.
Yeah, 'cause I remember sitting here picking trees other times.
And that's,
What did we get? Yeah.
that's worked better. I think we almost all, there are a few trees left, but they're almost all gone. And
Yeah, so if you're looking to order trees, please feel free to contact me, jchristiansenbuck@corcoranmn.gov.
a few left, good, yeah, that's right. Otherwise, it's fun. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for doing it.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
All right, participation fund.
It looks the same.
Is there interest on
Just
there?
went
though?
through it.
Or did I
Okay.
miss that last time?
There's
I
some
was
interest
reading.
now,
Yeah?
although not 2024, I guess.
It looks the same as when we went through it back in February, when you guys had the full printout of 5 pages with the
Oh,
sources,
mhm.
uses,
That was
funding.
nice.
When we went more in depth on it, it's still the same.
Quick question, on the interest, did we really get interest of 130,000, or is that total, from 723 to 1223?
So that's for half a year worth of interest.
The 130,
Mhm.
okay. So we doubled it in the second half of the year as compared to the first half of the year, that's pretty good,
Rates have gone up, balance has gone up.
yeah.
Just wait till this year's allocation.
I was gonna say the balance did go up substantially, because between the first and the fourth, or not the first, between March and April,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot going in.
All right, no other business. City Council Commissioner Liaison Calendar.
Your agenda was incorrect, that was in the packet as previously discussed. Please see the one that I left on the dais that has more accurate dates. I repeated May, and unless it's Groundhog Day, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You can get
Okay, no one's complaining, so I think we're good there. We have 5:30 special session on 425. Remember that.
If you're not able to attend, please let me know. I've heard from some of you.
And it's just here?
Yep, right here.
Okay,
next week.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
5:30.
Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
And I made it on the third.
Meeting adjourned.